Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Today, Wednesday, the 23rd day of November 2022. We don't have the regular theme song, but I'm gonna entertain you with some siren music, siren song. Yeah, good morning, good morning. You cannot say that you did not get the notification. It's different siren song, which is very familiar now in and around Guyana, because everywhere you drive, every Tom, Dick, Barry, Mary Jane have siren on the vehicle. I hope you all can hear me loudly. So we're here ready to go. My colleague is already in the studio, waiting and ready to join. Let me indicate whether you can hear me so I can continue with the program for today. I see a lot of people here this morning from very, very early. Parfait in the house. Um, can you hear me? School about to call in. But I want to make sure that you can hear me. And then we are going to go. The numbers are already there, man. So school, a lot of people, I guess with all the rain and so on, in loud and clear. Somebody can live and say loud and clear. So let me just run the roll, the roster. The roster. We started what? People started very early this morning. The early board, Patricia G. She was there at 9:09. Then Mr. Chill Pepper, 68 at 9:32. Kodowashi came in at 9:33. And Anthony J came at 9:55. And then we have Jakey. Jakey came in at 11:14. Welcome, Jakey. Welcome. Hazel R. She came in at 11:16. Vibort, you're dropping down the ladder. Vibort, you came in at 11:16. And 11:16 put you at what? At number 7 this morning. But you're always here, always early. Redman, Raul G. Raul G was here. He said it's a bit cold, but he's in class. Wonder why you that will be cold, boy. But he's in class. Class is important, you know. Don't let the weather stop you from attending class. Don't let no weather stop you from attending class and getting the valuable information. Then we have Derek T. Derek T came in at 11:18. Yeah, Raul, instructor is here. Natasha D at 11:25. Barbara B at 11:31. Everett L at 11:31. Jacko, I think Jacko all the way from Georgia at 11:32. John C at 11:32. Grand Village from South Romwell Gardens, 11:35. Then who we have next? Dudley from Jamaica, my partner, old police friend from Jamaica, came in at 11:44, always on time. Always on time. Yolanda came in at 11:46. Yeah, me buy all the way from Canada, all the way from Toronto, Canada. 9795 Terrence Young came in at 11:49. And you have Princess from Lamar Springs. Clay came in at 11:59. George C. George, I know you was on early. I know you were on early. I saw you on early, and then you came off. So even though it is reflecting here that you came on at 12 o'clock, I know that you were on very, very, very early. When I signed in early this morning, I saw you there waiting. Tasha J, welcome, 12:01. Ulrich, always on time, man. Ulrich, always on time. Francis, Jean, we have Denise, the secretary. Secretary and missing out. My friend from Essequibo, Abdun is here, all the way from Essequibo. Jonar is here. Full house today. Full house. Full house. Full house. Keith, so he fall in and cover down. Fall in and cover down. Then we have Leon from Good for Wapton, Turkey area. Always here. Winston and Canty and missing. The regulars are here. And I noted every week we get people indicating that they're joining for the first time. So welcome. If you are a first-time joiner. We have someone from Parfait. Idul is here. All the way. We have people from Florida, people from Bronx, people from Brooklyn, the United Kingdom, Canada, Georgia, all over Texas. Oh man, we have loud, and we said they hear me loud and clear. Vibert from the East Bank. Welcome. And you see Key Living is from Toronto. Welcome, my friends. Welcome. And let me again say to you that my colleague, my co-accused, my co-host is in the studio ready and raring to go. And we are going to start because we have lots of stuff to tell you this morning. But we have to give the trenchies and the amphibians an opportunity to join and to set up their recording devices and so on. So none will be excluded. None will be excluded. We have Williana from Denham still in the house. So people are joining all the time. Let me give them a chance to join because we have a lot of things to say that they might find interesting this morning. So we're going to give them time to join. And we like to always start by giving praise and thanks to the Almighty for allowing us to be here this morning to see this new day and to be on this program. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. We regret to let you know that two of the former colleagues, retired police and one serving police rank. I think last week we did announce the death of Woman Sergeant Miller of Bartica Police Station. She died sometime last week. But the funeral is today. I have the details here. Church, Old Town, West Coast, Borbies, funeral service. And then she'll be buried at Golden Grove Cemetery, West Coast, Borbies. So that is today for those people who may want to know and perhaps in the area and want to go there and pay your respect. It is today, the funeral of Woman Sergeant 16699 Miller. She was of Bartica Police Station. She died. And then we have the death of retired woman Detective Corporal 17700 Stacy Yearwood. She passed away on November the 17th at a resident at number 51 Village on the quarantine there in Borby. So condolences to those persons, the relatives and friends, colleagues of those deceased persons. We say, we always, and that is why we have to give praise and thanks, because we are fortunate to be in the land of the living. And we should never, ever take these things for granted. We never know the time. We don't know the time. We don't know the hour. We go to bed one night and then Jah decide to call us home, and that is it. So let's give praise and thanks to being in the land of the living. Let me bring in my colleague, Mr. Conway. CC, welcome to the Speaking Out this morning. How have you been?
I've been good in the name of the Lord. The Lord has been very good to me and family, and I must give thanks and praises. And I'm happy to be with my co-accused so that we can do the work of the Lord. Because what we're doing here is the work of the Lord. You can't do policing without God. And even you look at the police, the oath that they took, the last word is God. It ended up, so help me God. So we have to do the policing with God.
And long ago they used to say after police is God, People used to say after police is God, because they say when you attack you all, oh God. Then the next word that comes out is police.
Yeah.
So the police have a very important role to play. Unfortunately, in recent times, we have seen a diminishing of the role. But the role is very, very important. Very, very, very important. So let's give praise and thanks, because as we said, nothing can be done without the intervention and without the will of the Father. So even the trenches and the amphibians, the fact that they're here and they're making us comment and so on, it is so willed. It is so willed. And I have said that I will continue to be here to speak the truth. And if it's the will of the Father to stop me at any time, well, then that is what it will be. The Lord's work must be done. His will must be done. If he does not want me to be here to speak out and to expose corruption and incompetence, he will find a way to prevent me. Only he can find a way to prevent me from telling the truth and being here. I said the truth shall set you free. The truth shall set you free. So, CC, again, welcome. You know,
Paul, let me
yeah.
say a couple of things. Let me start off. In relation to Stacey Yearwood, the late, she worked with me when I was commando in Barbies. She was at Springlands, and I remember an incident. I'm going to talk a bit about it. Her boyfriend stabbed her up, and about 4 o'clock in the morning, his brother, my friend Colin Bino, I think you know him too, educator. I remember his family said history. Colin, his wife and his daughter graduated at the same time from the same campus at the University of Guyana. Now, he called me and said, Commando, my brother stabbed up stay and the police can't find me. He's at this location. So he gave me the location and I call the police and I tell them where they can find the guy. Subsequently, the detective officer called me and said they find him and he is in the lockups. About 10 minutes after, Bino called me again. He said, Commando, I understand the police arrest my brother. They get in the lockups, but he drink poison and he in the lockups. So I called back the detective officer, said, tell me something about Bino. He said, sir, I'm monitoring. He drink poison. He said he drink poison, but I smell him mouth and smelling poison, but I'm monitoring. Well, I behave like you're a very good friend from the quarantine there. I use some language that the officer understands. And I said, look, you'll carry the man to the hospital, and at the front hospital, call me and tell me about the man. He called me something, he said the man get admitted, but Skipper, he ain't looking good. About half an hour afterward, he called me, he said, sir, the man died. I said, what? He said, yes, the man died. So I want to make the point that prisoners, when you have them and they complain of being unwell or they complain that they are sick, it is the duty of the police, in accordance with Standing Order number 73, to escort them to seek medical attention. If Bino didn't call me, that man would have died in the lockups, and you hear that the police kill him. And let me just refer to another incident at Springlands. I was getting some difficulty with crime at Springlands and had retired senior superintendent Mansell. He was an ASP then, and I sent him to Springlands. And Mansell used to go to work early. The shift used to change at 8 o'clock. So he goes in about 7:30 so he can catch the night duty people and find out what's going on. And he used to check the books. And let me tell you some of the books that he used to check. The diary, the occurrence book, the crime book, the message sent book, the message received book, the prisoner's charge sheet, the property room, the property book, and the arms book. And after he checked the books, they told him that they had 4 prisoners in the lockups alive and well. Mansell said, hey, let me go and check them. Open the lockups, and there is a man, to use a police term, crump up in the lockups. Mansell called me and said, look, Skipper this morning looking good, you know. He ain't looking good. I said, well, where's the course of action? He said, so I got carried to Skellen Hospital. Carried the man to Skellen Hospital, and within an hour, the guy died. So the thing I want to make is that when prisoners complain that they're not feeling well, you don't be the doctor. You make sure that they get medical treatment. And I used to tell my ranks to 3 things you must do. There are 3 I's of management. You inspect, you investigate, and you inform. Inspect your men, inspect your books, inspect your procedures, investigate the usual and the unusual, and also you inform your superiors, your peers, and those below you, and even members of the public. And I repeat, 3 I's of management: inspect, investigate, and inform. And sometimes when you reach at the station, first thing, look up and see whether the flag is upside down, as the case may be. So that's what I want to leave with the police them, that check your prisoners. If they're sick, carry them to the hospital. And also remember 3 I's of management: inspect, investigate, and inform.
Well said, my brother. Well said. I hope they're picking up. Again, you said the correct thing. Police, once a person in custody complains of feeling unwell, the police course of action is to take that person to get medical attention. It's not for you to determine whether the person faking it, whether you have to take the person to make sure that they are properly examined by a competent person. And you talk about inspection, and this is a good point, because I posted something on social media this morning of a police station on the East Coast with no flag. So you talk about being able to see whether the flag is being flown upside down and all of that. Well, they don't have none, so they can't be flown upside down. No flag is being flown at the BV police station this morning, and they can't say it's before 6. The flags are supposed to be hoisted at 6 o'clock. This was, the time is there, but maybe closer to 9 o'clock, but no flag is being flown. You know what it reminds me of? I see Ulrich is there, Terrence, Lado, Bonita, Sean, and all of these people coming in. And you remember the first entry, Ulrich, the police, their duty starts at 6 o'clock in the morning. Their duty don't start at midnight. So even though the day starts at 1 minute or a couple of seconds after midnight, police, their duty starts at 6 a.m. every day. And the first entry that is made in the book, once you rule up the diary for their duty for, let's say, Wednesday, the 23rd of November, 2022, the first entry that you make, right, is that the police flag, if you have national flag, that the flags were hoisted by constable or whoever hoists the flag. That is the first entry. So the question to be asked is, are they still making those entries? And if they are making those entries, wonder what they would have written this morning at that station with no flag.
And I wanted to whether they put it in a reference number. I can recall, I always remember my Coney, I booked out the morning, left on weekend pass. And by the time I reached home at West Coast Barbies, the police from Wellard was there to me. Say I must return immediately to my Coney police station. I went back. And there was the sergeant. He said, "You were on weekend pass?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You booked out this morning in the diary?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Bring the diary." He said, "This is your entry?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Anything wrong with the entry?" I said, "I left out my reference number." He said, "Well, put it in and then go back on your weekend pass." And from that day, anytime I was writing up the diary, I always find my reference number. I wonder if those diaries now have reference number or they have changed it.
Well, I'm sure that the ruling up arrangement may still be there, the various columns and so on, but whether they are written up properly, that's the next question. But it might be interesting. I know I said I listen by now. Some of them would have called the commander and said, "Slow, sir." They like to say, "Slow, sir," that there's no flag at the police station this morning. And guess they're going to jump with some excuse and then they're going to try to lick down someone. But then again, all of these places, these things are concerning because people say, "Oh, that is a minor thing." It might appear minor to you, but when you do management, they speak of the broken window theory. The broken window theory. I don't have time to go into it. This is a lecture on management this morning, but I will invite them to read about the broken window theory as a management concept and what it says about dealing with small things, because small things lead to bigger things. So if you have a situation where you're in flying flag or you're in inspecting, then everything is going to collapse suddenly and you're not even aware. But when you take care of those small issues, as they say, you dot your I's and you cross the T's. You take care of those small issues. The larger issues are likely to take care of themselves. And not only in terms of the management of station, but in policing as a whole. So let me say to you, read up the broken window theory and hope you can apply it to your management of your station, of your subdivision, of your division, as the case may be. Oric saying you left out the entry in the diary and all of that. So welcome to all. Share the live, share the live. Remember, we always invite you to share the live. The numbers class full, but we still get standing room and all of that. Class full, we have standing room. Share the live, let people know that we're on and we are ready to go. Now, let me take this opportunity. I'm sure CC will join me to we have the Thanksgiving. You know, tomorrow's Thanksgiving in the United States of America. Big holiday. Today is supposed to be one of the busiest travel days. Millions of people traveling to get to their relatives and for Thanksgiving. So today is Thanksgiving. And I'm sure that we all, whether we're in the States or not, we all have a lot to be thankful for. We should all have a lot to be thankful for. So even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, you have to be thankful for a lot of things. For life, the fact that we're here and we can talk to you and you can listen, that is something to be thankful for. We have life. So again, to all the people in the States, happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope you have a wonderful day with your turkey and your cranberry sauce and all that, those things that go with Thanksgiving. Cece?
Yes, and let me join with you to the wishing persons happy Thanksgiving. I experienced it quite a number of times, and once I get caught up with the Thanksgiving traffic, traveling from Quantico, Virginia to New York, and it was horrible. No, nothing really moving, but I hope that they enjoy the turkey and all that is there to be offered.
Yeah, Cyril is commenting in relation to the comment I made about the broken window theory. He said you take care of the corners and the middle will take care of itself. That is another interpretation, there is another iteration. Yeah, so tomorrow, well, we know tomorrow, yeah, Chilo is telling me it's tomorrow. We know it's tomorrow, but we want to wish you today Thanksgiving. Some people can start eating the turkey since today. Some people don't wait on Thanksgiving to start eating the turkey. Yeah, we know it's tomorrow, Thursday, but seeing the program is today, the day before, Thanksgiving Eve, so to speak. We are sending out greetings to all for Thanksgiving. And CC, yesterday, I nearly blew a fuse, man. I tell myself, I'm getting older, mind you, not old, I'm getting older, and you need to let your maturity show and take it easy and so on. But yesterday, I nearly blew a fuse when I looked at social media and saw what was happening to a young policeman. Later learned this was in Borbies, where he was attacked, struck to the ground. Policeman in uniform struck to the ground, assaulted, and then he pursued the man. I understand later that 2 men from New Amsterdam were arrested in connection with the assault, and they are to be charged and placed before the court. But see, let me hear your comment. Did you see it?
I saw it and I was alarmed. But then something dawned on me, we had one oil in a year where a policeman really manners a minibus, a car driver, as the case may be. And I'm wondering, Paul, whether or not they're really teaching the police self-defense. I don't know. But I don't know what transpired before the assault on the police. Something must have triggered out. But a policeman in uniform, nobody got any right to really assault the police in uniform. And I think they should bear the full brunt of the court. Perhaps if they plead not guilty, we should ask for them to be remanded, as the case may be. But it was terrible. I'm looking at it, and I said before, I didn't see the part of the clip before, but I saw what really took place there. But then a police has got a right to defend himself, and police must be able to defend themselves, provided they don't use more force than is necessary.
Right, and as I said, the thing was very, very worrying. And I understand from the release that 2 persons were arrested and they are to be charged. whatever offense, if you got to throw the whole book at them, I don't know what triggered it. Some people suggesting that one must have been riding without the necessary safety helmet, and maybe he had a pillion rider, whatever it is. They to attack a policeman in uniform in the manner that we saw on social media is unacceptable, and the whole book must be thrown. And I hope that once the book is thrown, whoever the magistrate is, make sure that an example is set. There are too many instances and incidents now where people are attacking policemen in uniform. People I saw some time ago where a man block out pull coffee ran from the TSU, you know him well, Maxwell, block him out, fall on the road, unconscious. Man block out the police on the road, policeman in uniform. And we cannot live in a society where we permit that to continue. And we need to set the example. There need to be made an example that you can't go about the place and attacking policemen in the manner that they did. So I'm looking out. I'm going to follow this one very, very closely. As I said, we don't know when they're going to court, whether they're going to plead not guilty or guilty. We don't know why it is. There's still the presumption of innocence. So even though we saw what took place, maybe they want to say there was some form of justification. We don't know what the antecedents were. And let's wait and see. But I'm saying whatever it was, you can't justify attacking the police in uniform. Knock the man down to the ground. So I'm glad to see that they were arrested, because one of the things I wanted to comment on that I saw it yesterday, I was tempted to post, but still I give it some time to say the image of these people are there, and it should be plastered all over social media that they're wanted for assaulting the police. But the police move with some alacrity. That's the word that the man who sits in the chair.
You took the word out of my mouth, man. Alacrity.
Move with alacrity, and they were able to get the two suspects, because they are still suspects. So let me understand this thing. And it has to do, you have to look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture to me is that people have lost respect for police for whatever reason. We don't deny that some police conduct themselves in a manner that causes people to lose respect for them. So you have to look at the bigger picture, where you get a society where almost so frequently policemen are being attacked. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. And that is what the people have to address, the relationship between the police and the community, which will make sure that people come to respect the police more. Because an incident like that, one would have expected the respect. First of all, it would not have happened. And if it occurred, people would have gone to the assistance of the police. I don't know if that took place on this occasion. If they went to the assistance of police, maybe they provided the name. I don't know, but I am saying it is unacceptable, and every effort must be made to bring this unwelcome development to an end. CC?
Yeah, it happened in Angais Avenue, and the relation Angais Avenue is a depressed area. That is New Amsterdam, what we call New Amsterdam Tiger Bay. And there's where the police has got to go into that area and do quite a lot of work, maybe establishing youth clubs and dealing with the youths, as the case may be. It is a depressed area, and police involvement is required so that they have a lot of public confidence in the police. Work got to be done. They might be looking at the fruits, but they got to look at the root cause of what is going on.
Yeah, well, yeah, again, as I've said, they're running around. So often you see they're going to this place and they're going to that place, but apparently it's not making any impact on the relationship or the respect that the police should get. But, I have said repeatedly in referring to some politicians on this program, I have said respect is something that you have to earn. You have to earn. In other words, you have to conduct yourself in a manner that earns the respect of the members of the public, your peers, your superior, everyone. You have to conduct yourself in a manner to earn respect. And if you don't do that, you're going to get into situations like we have seen in recent times, where people are assaulting police. Somebody is saying no one went to the police assistance. No one went to the police. assistance. Now, the next thing I want to talk about here, the old coastline yesterday, a lot of rain falling, flood Georgetown, flood several places on the East Coast. And I noted not so long ago they launched the Christmas policing program. And the first thing that occurred to me when I see the heavy rainfall was whether the policemen who are on duty are properly equipped for this weather. Whether they're given, yesterday, boots and shoes and so on would have make it. You have to have long boots. You have to have raincoat. So I don't know if those things are given to the ranks who are being posted on duty, or they just send them out like that. But I'm saying, given the fact that the season seems to be here, December month is rain month. So even if it's in December yet, seems as though we have the rainfall coming early. The people who sit, the man who recording and passing on to the minister, please let them know that it's good to have policemen on duty, say they're patrolling during the Christmas period, but you have to make sure that they are properly attired. Long boots, raincoat, and even the waterproof, or they used to get a cap cover with waterproof and all of that. You have to have them. Other than that, what you're gonna have? You're gonna put them out there, rain falling, and they're gone in some place and shelter. And you can't blame them. You cannot blame them. The next thing that I'm gonna be looking for, and I asked the communication this morning, I read GHK Lal. He has a beautiful opinion piece. I read it this morning, and he was making the same point about communication, whether they have to use cell phones. But that should be a no-no. That should be a no-no. They should be given the radios so they can communicate with they communicate properly. They should be given radios. I don't know if they are given, earlier this year we talk about big budget for police and all these type of things. One would expect that things like radio, because they said they get drones, they said they get all kind of things, and radios as basic equipment to go on duty. I hope that they have that. I think Mr. Conway might be having some issues with his audio there. Yeah, but we have to make sure that they're equipped with this type of things. We have to make sure. Mr. Conway, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, I was asking you if you care to comment on the point that I made just now about the police on duty for Christmas period and whether they are properly equipped.
Yeah, I agree with you that they should be properly equipped with their raincoats and other wet weather arrangements, as we would call it. But I've been traversing the city, and I haven't seen a policeman or a policewoman with a radio. They're all with their cell phones. Remember when we review the standing orders, we review and we had a policy on cell phones. I know what to do, but all of them with cell phones. And they might be sitting in one of those booths and watching blue movies instead of doing the work that they were detailed to do. So it's important that they latch the cell phones and use radios.
Yeah, and more than that, now that they have World Cup football thing, when was he watching football? Like they might have done like me this morning. Look, watch, are they upset to see Japan beating Germany 2-1, and the big upset yesterday with Saudi Arabia beating Argentina. So maybe men going out there, that is what they're doing, but that can't be the acceptable thing. They have to have radio. And talking about GHK Lal this morning, he spoke about an incident in front of the major police station in Georgetown. He was referring to Brigham, I think, where he said someone was stopped for not wearing a seatbelt. And rather than issuing, this is right in front of the police division headquarters, rather than issuing the person a ticket, the person was told to go into the police station. And according to the article, once he got into the police station, the negotiations. We had a man, look, young, and these, I don't think Ulrich and these guys, CC, you might know the story that I'm about to talk about. But we had We had a guy in the TSU. The Screaming Skull, 78, 19, I think was his number, Winter, Ormond Winter. He's a man, what the thing is malapropism. Also, he used to use word out of context. And when he talk about negotiate, the man did not negotiate. When it's anything corruption, it was negotiate. Once, once it had to do with corruption, that he would say they negotiate. So according to this letter, or the opinion piece, they went into break down where a negotiation took place for $2,000, and then the man was sent in on his way. But it reminds me of an incident that was related to me recently. A young man came out of a car and he dropped his wallet containing his fortnight salary and his identification card and other documents. He was advised to go to the station and make a report. He went to the station, that's why he explained, he went to the station to make the report about his lost identification card and his wallet and his money. A traumatized young man he paid for the week or fortnight, whatever it was, not the month, it's stuck in his wallet. And the man is saying that the police wanted a raise to take the report. He was shocked. He tell Uncle Paul, he was relating this to me. I traumatized. I went there to make a report so I could try to get back my identification card. And the policeman demanding money from me to accept the report. He said, well, of course, he broke because he just lost his wallet with all the money. So he walked out to the place and he came back home. Luckily for him, this is a good part of the story. Luckily for him, either the same night or sometime after, he found the wallet in front of his residence, which is about 50 yards from where he dropped it. But it was clear that he dropped it because video evidence showed that he dropped it. And what I suspect happened there, whoever picked it up, saw the identification card, knew him, took out the money, and dropped the wallet. So easy was able to recover his identification card. See, when these things are happening, how can people respect the police? Tell me.
And further to that, Paul, most stations, they get sergeants, they get corporals, they get inspectors, even officers around. They don't do anything. I talked a story before. I think about a year and a half ago, I went to Providence Police Station, and there was a young traffic man, maybe just out of training, came in with 3 people. He told the sentry, put this one in the lockups, let this one sit down on the bench, and this one was go up on $10,000 bail, and he walked out of the office. In the station sitting was an inspector and a sergeant, and they didn't do anything. But this young constable could decide who must go up on bail, who must go in the lockups, and who must sit down and wait for them. So sometimes you wonder what really those persons, those supervisors at stations are doing. Are they inspecting? Are they investigating? Are they informing? Or are they just doing face time or seat time?
Yeah, but you're right, because, as I know it, as I was taught, you would have been taught the same thing too. You walk in the inquiry's office, somebody comes in, the man, the constable, the inquiry's office might be the first person with whom that person might interface with. But you have supervisors, and it's the duty of the supervisors to find out what is the report about, what the person come here about, what it is. But apparently nothing has happened. It's either that or they are part of the whole corrupt process, so they really don't care. But it is very, very worrying to know that the man walks in, and it's happened frequently, goes into the station to make a report. The rank with whom he is engaging, some constable, want a raise, and either the supervisor is there and does nothing, or no supervision, and that is what is leading to the problem. So people are losing respect for the police, and these are not isolated incidents. These are not isolated incidents. These incidents are happening too frequently, and everybody. People relate stories, and I know, as an experienced policeman, some people will go and they will lie on police. There's no doubt about that. Some people can go to the station, to go to complaints authority, to go to officer, and they can lie on the police. Some people will do that, but I suspect that is that will be very few persons. Very few persons. So when you hear all of these bad stories, you have to make sure that you have to say that something is wrong. But having talked about the bad stories, let me highlight two good ones. This morning I read a story. Well, this is not police. Let me tell you the one about the police. Somebody wrote, I think it was yesterday or sometime, a man, his daughter took him. Well, I'm saying the person did not identify the gender. So it could be a man or a woman. I'm assuming perhaps it was a man driving his sick daughter, who he claims to be asthmatic, to the West Demerara Regional Hospital. And he said what he did was to put on his hazard lights and blowing his horn to try to get through the traffic because the traffic was backed up. And as it can be expected in this place where everybody get their own idea about driving, and that is what JHK Lal wrote about this morning. I want to tell you, should read the article, the opinion piece. He said they're not giving way. So he has a sick child. To get to the hospital, they're not giving way. He said he looked over his shoulder, and an angel in the form of a police rank appeared, either driving a car or riding a motorcycle. I can't recall which. But he said he related to the police rank what his situation was, and the police rank escorted him, siren and so on, escorted him through the traffic straight to the West Demerara Regional Hospital for his daughter to get emergency care. And he was very complimentary of the action of the police. And I don't know who the police is. He didn't identify the police by name or rank. But a lot of police listening. They, as I say, they have recordings. They're recording this program. And I would hope they will try to find out who this policeman was, and to at least write and tell you that he did something that brought credit to the force. Right. I know they get award ceremonials, and perhaps not, if you don't give him a financial award, give him a thank you, write something, put it in his file to say that his work brought credit to the police force. And that is the type of thing we want to see. That is the type of thing we want to see. Unfortunately, most times we have the negative. And again, not to say this is the only positive, but people tend to highlight the negative. So when you have these positive things, I think it is our duty on this program to highlight it. CC?
Yes, Paul, that is good. And when they do good work, we need to highlight it. And also, let me give you another one too, because I read in the papers in the Lennox Blackmore Boxing Championship, they tied with the GDF, to be champion Jim, and I think that's good.
Well, I didn't read that, but I'm glad to know. I was a boxer, when I was in training school. Courtney Lane came and identified me as a light heavyweight boxer, just 175 pounds. In those days, you hadn't a choice. They came and said, you look muscular, you go and box and so on. And I fought.
Did you win any fight?
Yeah, I won the first couple of fights. I went all the way to the National Novice Championship. The fight took place at the Police Sports Club, Ivlery, and I was matched in the finals. Light heavyweight final, the match with a man named Robert Nixon, Carl Poned, from the Republican gym, a big, strong prisoner. In those days, I don't know if they still have the gym. Republican gym were the boxers from the jail. People like Coca Dog, Alfred, Poned, Nixon. That is back in the 70s. So I come up against the prisoner. And the man who was my seconder was Morris Busy Boyce. He died now, famous boxer around the place. Boyce came me up. Boyce said, Slowy, you're fast on your feet. This man big and strong. Don't try to mix with him. Just jab and run, and clinch. Jab and run, and clinch. I say, all right, good. I follow the instruction. First round, bang. The referee's a man named Leslie Allen. And a jabbing and a running, and a jabbing and a running. A jabbing and a running. First round, man. Put in hardly land on me, man. I'm feeling good. I come out the second round. Forget about what the man told me to jab and cross and run. So I decided to get adventurous. A jab and a cross and a throw in the left hook. I went to throw in the left hook. I left myself exposed. And then I heard the referee, 5, 6, 7, 8. I said, but this man can't count. We started counting from 5, 1 to 4. And he done. Yes, if I continue, I said, nah, man, we are continue. It's knocked the man, knocked me cold, man. So they were going on from 1 to 4. I got knocked out in the final. So yes, you know what, for how many fights I have on my belt. I had quite a few before I got to the, I think I fought for 2 years. But then I fought in 74 and 75, got promoted in 76. And there was a talk around the place, once you get promoted, don't mess in the gym with them constables because there's a bank, there's put it on for you because you're a subordinate officer. So I decided to chuck at that time. So yes, I had my thing in the ring. So congratulations to them for winning that. Congratulations to the police boxing gym for at least tying with the GDF, because the GDF over the years has dominated the amateur boxing. They had a coach, Daniels. We went to several Commonwealth games and all of that. Yeah, I've done. That is the truth. That story, I ain't afraid to let people know. When I think the man telling me 5, 6, 7. So I said, this man can't come. Leslie Allen, the old people in boxing will know these names. Leslie Allen, Morris Busy Boys, Coca Dog, Alfred, Poned, Nixon, and all of those people. Believe them must have died now. So yeah, the man counting from 5. I said, nah, 5, 6, 7, 8. I get up. He asked me if I continue. I said, nah. And I got my trophy as to be the runner-up. National novice runner-up. I think that might have been 1975 or something like that. I said, yeah. I have it there. So, CC, the next thing I want to talk about, your favorite people, man, the corporate communication unit was at it again. No, man. Look, sometimes I want to ignore these people, but these people are so outrageous that you can't ignore them all along. I read a story where a body was found under a bridge in Brickdam, and there was a video circulating on social media with a policeman in uniform with a sledgehammer trying to break the bridge to get the body. So eventually, apparently, they got the body out, and they have the corporate communication unit report. They like quoting them so that when they think them on, you say ransom the CI, from CID headquarters, process the scene. The body was escorted to Georgetown Public Hospital, where it was pronounced dead on arrival by a doctor. You talk, man, here, they got to do something better than this. You talk about a bloated body that they had to break a bridge to take out. The body was escorted to the mortuary for post-mortem examination for identification and for post-examination. That is what it is escorted there for, not to pronounce death. Are you suggesting that a bloated body found under a drain, smelling up because I think it's Gomes or somebody had to call smelling, could have been alive? So when they write this nonsense, you got to pull them up. What should be said is that the body was taken to the mortuary of the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation for identification and postmortem, because the first thing you want to know who the person is and postmortem to determine cause of death. So they're coming with this rubbish all the time, and somebody go, "Oh, you got to pronounce." You're pronouncing no dead, no bloated body dead. Anybody know that the body is dead? SCC?
Remember the traffic man asks, did the deceased die? Did the deceased die? Perhaps we gone back to those days,
Exactly. Is the deceased dead? So that's how we get back. Well, these people, they are doing it too often. And I believe that because we speak about it, they are trying to show defiance and say, well, you're going to dictate to we got to write what we have to write. Well, you write the nonsense that people got to read. People all over the world have to read. They think that you're backward, and perhaps they're correct. They are thinking that you're backward, and perhaps they are correct. So they are trying to get this thing right, man. Again, I say that if you find a body like the one that they found at West Derar some months ago, in a state of decomposition, the body is not taken to be pronounced dead. The body is taken for identification. You want to know who the person is, and you want to do a postmortem to determine the cause of death, because you might very well be looking at a murder.
Yep.
So you don't assume that because it is there, that is a natural cause or anything that might very well be a murder, and it's a post-mortem examination will determine that. So when you're doing your investigation, you start out your investigation on the assumption that is a homicide you're dealing with. You can't assume that is natural death or suicide, you start out the investigation as if it's a homicide. And when you get a post-mortem examination, which tells you definitively what is the cause of death, then you know how to proceed. CC?
That's true. And I remember I did management of death investigation with the FBI. And that's what they tell you, you know. That's where you start. Even the police force used to tell you any missing person treated as murder. Because eventually something would end up at murder.
But here, you know, and then just come out, you got one here named Cameron Khan. Look like he's a amphibian. He's saying slow, these people is you people. These people you're talking about are civilians, bro. You see, sure you are mentally lazy, you don't read. The people in charge of the corporate communication unit of the Guyana Police Force are civilians. 2 civilians paid a lot of money, you understand, brought in by the current government to do the PR or whatever they call it, corporate communication, the Guyana Police Force. They are the ones who are essing big, right? They are the ones, right? And we have said before, civilians named before, but we had a unit, police public relation unit, and they never used to do this type of crap that these people, they never wrote this type of nonsense that these people write. So Kamral Khan, get your facts right. Right about you people, and nobody and me people. Me people is me family. So let me understand it. I know y'all gonna come, you know, I want y'all gonna come out, but I'll tell you what we do with cockroach when they come out. If it's in the night, because most time cockroaches are nocturnals, they come out in the night. We can turn on the light, some can scamper for cover, and then we can mash the few who we can mash and get rid of them. So don't come with this craziness about your people and all of that. I think I might have lost him temporarily. Now let me go on. Let's go on. You know, we have to mention with the rainy season, we have these frequent fatal accidents. Frequent. And I have noted a trend. I don't know if the traffic people have observed that most of these accidents now, they report, the report is that the driver lost control, crashed into some fence, crashed into some light pole. In other words, clear evidence of speeding. They're speeding, you're losing control, and they're killing themselves, and they're killing other people. I want to take this opportunity to implore all road users, the only drivers, to take it easy, especially at this time, Christmas time. The place busy, everybody on the road, trying to spell. They must don't spend out the 8% if they get it, if they ain't get it yet. You know, how some people operate since they hear it, they don't decide how they are going to spend it. So they must don't spend out the 8%. But the point is, it is speeding. And you know, not so long ago, the Minister of Home Affairs made a statement about traffic tickets, or they're going to issue more traffic tickets. Over the past 24, 48 hours, the president made a statement about calling on the man who sits in the chair, I think, to deal with lights, these flashing lights, and all of these things. It comes back to what we spoke about, the broken window theory. Read it up and see what it says. That is what we are talking about, right? So it's lawlessness at all levels. And I want to say this again, that I am renewing my call for a comprehensive overhaul of the entire traffic ticket system, the traffic system rather, dealing with how a person gets a license, categories of motor vehicles, and all of those things have to look at. I said before, and I'm saying it again, police should not be involved in getting conducting examination for learner drivers. It is time we get enough oil money now. Some agency, some department under the Ministry of Transportation to look into all aspects of that. It happens right around the Caribbean that occurs. We have to address this thing holistically. And when we're talking about siren and motor vehicles, imagine the president of this land has to call on the police to do their work. The president have to come out with a statement. The Home Affairs Minister not so long talked about campaign to deal with this issue. the fact that the president came out now talking about basically the same thing is an indication that nothing is happening. So all of these calls are being made and nothing is happening to address this situation. And let me tell you a good place to start. This siren and all of that. People said it. Almost all. I think Glenn Skillala, somebody said it this morning in the opinion piece I referred to. Almost all the police used to get the tint on their vehicle. Many of them siren on the vehicle and flashing lights. Almost all the ministries, the vehicles have lights and siren, and they are not emergency vehicles. The motor vehicle and is clear. Sirens and flashing lights are for emergency vehicles. Emergency vehicles are police vehicles, it's fire service vehicles and ambulances, nothing else. So all of those ministers who driving around the place and the entourage knocking out people and killing people, you got to move out of the way and all of that. Those things are illegal. Talking here about the laws of Guyana. So that would be a good place to start. Let them fix the self. You can start at home. Start right there. And then things are likely to get better. In other words, lead by example. Lead by example. CC, let me hear your piece take on this.
Paul, you use a word, that I like, that there must be an holistic approach towards the traffic lawlessness in this country. Piecemeal effort will only give you piecemeal result. Dealing with siren and Tintin vehicles, so there's only part of it. And my point is that too many persons are getting license to drive when they are not competent. They're getting it too easily. They're paying and they're getting it. And it is not only the work of the traffic rank, it's the work of all other members of the force. Do a survey and find out when last year a person in uniform, a uniform rank, a general duty rank, made a traffic case. That they're leaving it to the traffic rank. The traffic ranks alone cannot do it. All must be involved. And the commanders has got to get involved, especially with the practical sessions that they do for persons to get driver's license. Commander got to get a return every week, seeing how many persons were registered to drive, to do the practical tests, and how many persons pass, as the case may be. That if we don't, the commanders not get done, they don't get involved in this thing, actively involved in thing, we'll continue to get accidents. We continue to get fatal accidents. It need a complete reform, a complete overhaul of the traffic department, especially how persons are getting driver's license. I did a survey, I mentioned it several times ago, that over 90% of the persons who go to those driving schools already get a driver's license. Over 90 already get a driver's license and they're going to learn to drive. And there's a big issue. So unless we address it frontally, the madness will continue our roadways.
But when you talk about, even learning to drive, I made the point here too. Anybody can decide that they're opening a driving school in this country. There's no standard for the instructors. So anybody can decide, I get a business, I get a driving school. And all of those things you have to address. All of those things must be addressed. And I noted here too that we have to look at, you're talking about education, you're talking about the issuing of the license, we're talking about enforcement. It has to be a comprehensive arrangement. And, we're talking too about suspension of driver's license. We talk about disqualification of driver's license. I explained before that a person on conviction can be disqualified by the magistrate from holding or obtaining. That used to be frequent years ago. Now that hardly happens. I remember a couple of months ago, you saw a case where somebody was disqualified. We talk about suspension. The only person who can suspend, according to the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, is the licensing officer, who is the licensing authority, who is the Minister of Home Affairs. I wonder if this Minister of Home Affairs ever suspend any license. So examine this thing properly, and then you're going to find the answers to some of the problems that we are raising. Talking about driver's license, I said to you, to viewers, I don't normally read the comments during the program because you can be distracted. So what I would normally do after the program, I'll run back the comments and see what some people say and attempt to answer as we go along. Now, somebody last week raised the question about persons driving minibus that are registered in P without a minibus license. And he said, and let me read what he said. The viewer said, driving minibus that is registered as private without a minibus license. He said the police are advising that it's okay to do so. And he said, from what I know, I think it's the registration that determines the class of vehicle to be driven. Now, let me address this issue because this is an issue that came up when I was the traffic officer many years ago. The Minister of Home Affairs then, Ronald Gadraj, we had a very long discussion about this matter because I held the view as the traffic chief that even if the bus is registered, like this comment here, the bus is registered, the registration says a minibus, you have to have a minibus license to drive it. The licensing authority, listen to this carefully, the licensing authority, who at the time was Ronald Gadraj, the Minister of Affairs, said no, that it has to do with what the vehicle is being used for. So if you're as a bus, but it's in P private and you're carrying passengers and you're doing whatever with it, not for hire or so, it is okay, according to what obtains, it is okay for you to drive it with a license that doesn't allow you to drive a minibus. That is what it was ruled. I argued the thing for a long period. So if the policemen are telling you that, sir, I can't remember your name and all that, they might be correct because that is what it is. I don't agree with it, but the licensing authority since back then, that would have been perhaps over 20 years ago, said that if the vehicle is registered as P, then you don't have to have a minibus license to drive. And remember, there's no category of vehicle in Guyana named minibus, There is no category. If you check the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, there is no category of vehicle named minibus. So perhaps this all part of the confusion. And when we're going to fix this issue, if the government wants to fix it, all of that they may need to address. CC?
Yes, Paul. So just to recap, say that this thing needs a holistic approach, a comprehensive report, not no piecemeal thing, or it can't work. And that's what we got to do.
I agree with you. Another man come on to talk about what you said. Tell my brothers and sisters the only way forward is with the PPCC. One people, one nation, one destiny. Well, that's not the matter now. Join and support the government drive to move the country forward. Ignore all the lies peddled by some. I agree. Ignore the lies. That's what we've been saying all the time. That's why we tell you the truth. Things that can be substantiated. Facts. Stubborn things. Facts are stubborn things. That is what Uncle Fraser, Henry Fraser, former commissioner, used to say. Facts are a stubborn thing. And let me shout out for some other people. Share the live. Adi McRae, Old Police, and all the others who are here. Raul said that it has been proven that cockroaches can survive a nuclear blast. So maybe some of these cockroaches that we get coming on the program have survived that mutual blast. Somebody saying here to another, the amphibians, all they pay for license start with the PNC. You see, that is the problem that we have. They're looking to see where they pay for license start. They're looking to see where they pay for license start. They're not looking to see how it can be addressed. So let me assume, for argument's sake, it start under PNC. So you're saying that nobody else must fix it. That is the problem that we have in this country. These intellectually lazy people who can't come and make proper arguments. That is part of the problem, SEC.
Yeah, that's true, Paul. And then if since we still on the traffic, I recall, I think sometime this year, Rohan Singh, former head of the Presidential Guard, former head of the Inspection and Audit Unit. He did some analysis. And part of what he wrote is that 1,157 persons obtained driver's license illegally. And he said here that amount of killers that has been let loose on our roads, maybe there are many more. So they need to maybe go back to Ron Singh, call in Ron Singh and talk to him, see what action can be taken so that we can correct this thing.
Yes, I agree. The thing needs to be looked at. Thing needs to be looked at. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is another vexing issue. I read over the weekend, might have been over the weekend, yes, where a young Guyanese, I think dual citizen, might be a British citizen, had some altercation with what the guys that report to us critic. It is alleged assaulted critic. It is reported that she attempted to leave the country and was prevented from doing so because this report of assault was there with the police. And according to the report in the media, social media and other media, on Monday, that is the day before yesterday, she appeared before the magistrate at the Sparta Magistrate Court, charged with assault, pleaded guilty, and fined $15,000. Now, the thing that caught my attention there, we have the situation with Ozzy Rogers. Over a month ago, I think, he's alleged to have assaulted a woman at Bath with a firearm. They won't say he struck her with a firearm. He was taken to the police station. He went to the police station. I don't know if he was taken, but he found himself at the police station. There's no evidence that the firearm was seized. He was put on a recognizance. And the same couple of days after Swan, the man fly out and the man was doing some program in Queens, New York. So it occurred to me that, as I say, Animal Farm, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Different strokes for different folks. Did you see that report, Mr. Conway?
Yes, Paul, I saw the report and you're right. I always remember Animal Farm, I read it. I had to study it for GCE and they had the 10 commandments, and one of the commandments I always remember, they said, no animal must sleep in bed. And then the pig started to sleep in bed, and then they add in a piece, no animal must sleep in bed with sheets. So I know Rogers motto. I look at it properly, and maybe different folks, different strokes. But I heard that critic was displaying a medical certificate with a whole set of injuries resulting in one slap. And I wonder, and I don't think that after he reported the matter, the police escorted him to be medically examined. And that's the problem when you don't escort people to be medically examined. They come up with all sorts of injuries. And then I was running through the laws of Guyana, chapter 802, section 21. And he said, everyone who unlawfully assaults any person shall be liable to a fine of not less than $5,000 and not more than $10,000 or to imprisonment for 6 months. I don't know if this law has been updated, but according to this law, you can't fine more than $10,000. But the report I'm seeing and I read in it is that the woman was fined $15,000.
Well, I think having been prevented from leaving on one occasion, she went to court, fined $15,000. I mean, there's no money for converted to pounds. She must have been glad to just pay the fine and catch the plane and go out the country. But it's double standard. Standard. Up to now, they can't say what is the position with the matter against Ozzy Rogers.
Yeah.
Assault. What have they done? Why have they not charged this person? Because I have said before that the woman gave a statement and there was nothing wrong with them going ahead. The fact that he was on recognizance, there's nothing wrong with them going ahead and filing charges against him, right? But again, different folks to different folks, and that is why you have this double standard and triple standard and all the type of thing. So even going back to the siren issue, that is why you have cases where some people can be using siren and some, because even when they start to deal with the siren issue on private vehicles, you're going to get discrimination there too. Some people are going to be pulled in and dealt with, just like the tin. Some people are going to be pulled in and dealt with, and some people are going to be left alone. Some people are above the law, and that is what is happening in the country. That is why you have these problems, right? And when we talk about it, we pointed it out here on this program again before, that once a person is assaulted, once a person makes a report of being assaulted, it is the duty of the police to escort the person to get medical attention. And having escorted the person, the police rank who did the escort is supposed to write a statement to say that the person did not receive any further injury on the way to the doctor. Because other than that, a person get a slap, you tell them go to the doctor, then the next thing you know, they lash their head into some concrete wall and inflict injuries to themselves, and then they come and the doctor see that. The doctor is not going to be any wiser. The doctor will write a certificate in relation to what he saw, not to how it was inflicted. And then the person who now has been accused got to take all of that. And that is one of the issues you have. That is one of the issues you have. Now, CC, I know you're a cricket fan. And they had recently this cricket carnival. And I noted yesterday or day before, when you retire, you get time to read all this other thing. That an announcement is made that I think the artists who perform at the cricket carnival, the events I suspect, are going to be given double. They're getting a double up. In other words, whatever they got before, they're going to get 100%. 100%. When you talk about double, let me deal with percentage. So if they get a little 50,000, they're going to get 100%, they go into 100,000. And immediately it occurred to me, because I know police ranks have complained that they work for long hours at the cricket and the associated events, and they were not paid. They were told, well, that is your regular duty. You're getting a salary. There's no extra pay. And I made the observation, if that is so, that is the first time. Because I know all the years when the rank work cricket, they get paid for the work they do. I know too, but I know the thing has changed, because the CPL, the franchise, the Guyana franchise, is owned by a private individual. And the private individual is expected to make the payment. But I understand the people saying that, no, them thing ain't happening now. So here you have a case where the artists are going to get double, and the poor police and even getting a single. CC, do you care to comment on that?
Yes, Paul, I heard about it, and I know many of them, when they have 2 matches in one day, have to work double. And it is shocking that persons who already get paid will get 100%, and the police don't get any. When the police go and collect the bribe, we put them in front of the court. Now, when they work and they earn the money, they must be paid. And if they gotta get double, let them get double. We talk about Romy, when you're gambling, that they must get their money. And where's the role of the police association? Where's the role of the police officers association? Even the former members of the police force, they're silent. They're not coming public in terms of fighting for what is right, what the police deserve. The police must be paid, and not the private individual allowed to get away with that. No way, Paul. They must be paid.
But I know as a commander, when you get these extra duties, depending on the reputation of some of these organizers, they got large money before. Yeah. Because on many occasions we know that there were some notorious ones. They come, they have an activity, they request the presence of police, extra duty for them to work, and then when the activity is finished, they're going to cry to the boss, and they don't want to pay the police. So we used to ensure that they pay upfront, so that the ranks can come and can get the money that they earn. But it is unconscionable for the police ranks to have worked all of those hours, not being paid extra duty. And you have a situation now that is being reported that the artists who perform are going to be getting 100% increase. This thing is so unreasonable. And as you rightly pointed out, this is a welfare issue. And the police association, installed as they were, are very silent. I guess they are frightened to speak out because they get the reward, I think. Not for them who think they get a promotion and so on. So they don't care about the welfare of the other ranks. But this is so unreasonable. And there's no one there to make representation for them. The man who sits in the chair should have insisted that the ranks who work on them are paid, especially this time of the year. Everybody want a little small piece. Everything gone up, and everybody want a little small piece. And if you work, you should be rewarded for your effort. So I saw the thing, and that's the first thing that's sprung to mind. How this thing is so unfair that people getting extra money. Like the cane cutters, they like the cane cutters, they get a severance and then they get in more. But the police now who work in all of these hours can't even get a little top up. They can't even get a little top up. And I think it is so unfair. It is so unfair. And I would hope that the people who are looking and listening are going to take it up to ensure that the police get the just reward. I was in charge of security during 2007 Cricket World Cup and again in 2010 Cricket World Cup, and the people were paid the money. All the years, policemen are paid the extra duty for working at those events. So I don't know what has caused this policy now to change. I don't know what has caused this policy to change. So, CC, let me hope that they listen and they deal. And in all of this, the man, the man who sits there is silent. The last time the man, as far as I knew, that after the Boscom allegation, they had this press conference that was called to debunk Boscom allegation. And apparently the reaction from that traumatized the man. The man didn't want to see no Mike. And Mike is like kryptonite to this man now. So he ain't making no statement. You have this Soku issue. That's how long that thing dragging on, where the lawyer was arrested for advising our client to remain silent. The matter was sent, we understand, OPR investigate. We did say on this program, OPR doesn't have the mandate to investigate such a matter, but as the OPR investigate, then the next thing we learned is that the file got to the DPP for legal advice, and the impression was given that the file was with the DPP for some time. The DPP chambers came out with a statement to say, well, they only had the file for 1 week. But even 1 week, why would a file of this nature have to be there for 1 week? This seems to be a very straightforward matter. And let me be the obvious man. You know what I'm going to say? Well, the lawyer has taken private civil action, and they're going to wait for the outcome of the action. CC, what your belief? What is going to happen in this matter?
Water under the bridge.
Yes, that is what they were saying.
I wouldn't be surprised if you say she took civil action, so there is the end of it. And that's how things go, And the thing is that you have a deputy superintendent investigating a superintendent and an assistant commissioner in relation to this very matter. Total breach of the Police Act section, I think it's 5.3. Every alleged commission of a breach of discipline shall be investigated as soon as practicable by a member of the force not below the rank of sergeant and of a higher rank than the rank who is alleged to have committed the offense. And just getting back to this payment,
Hold on, CC, before you get back to the payment, let me tell you what they're going to want to tell you, That is Police Discipline Act, Chapter 1701, 5.3. They're going to say, oh, this is not being investigated under the Police Discipline Act. They're investigating them as an ordinary crime again. But even the point is that even investigated as an ordinary crime, how is the OPR involved? Do the OPR investigate ordinary crime? So one way or the other, I don't think they can give a plausible explanation as to what's going on. Yeah, well, sorry to cut you. Continue.
Yeah, I am concerned with the welfare of the police. They must get their money. I remember when I was commander, you make the point that commander ENF division, I dealing with Kashif and Shanghai. They didn't want to pay, and I said, no payment before no football. No payment, no football. And they come up that commanders have got to be strong too. Make sure that the ranks get what they deserve. And that's how we got to fight it.
Yeah, but you expect the people in charge are going to make representation on behalf of the rank. But if advantage is being taken and they're doing nothing, then the people are going to become more demoralized. And perhaps these are some of the things that lead to corruption and all of that. You people who know, despite what these cockroaches and these amphibians, people know me, people who know you, know that we never condoned corruption. We were never involved in any corrupt act. I remember in your case, a man attempted to give you a bribe at Sparna, at Covanjan, and he found himself before the court. In my case, let us check the record how many policemen were charged with corrupt transaction and all that. So all of these cockroaches and the amphibians who come in here and talking a lot of crap, see what talking about 18 million and all sort of thing, let them go and read. Let them, if they can, let them go and read and understand. They got to come good. They have to come good. Or we have our characters cannot be impeached. So let it come with a crap. And I said something, you got to just ignore them. You got to send them, just send them. So you got to sometimes just ignore. Yes, CC, anything else you want to mention?
Last week you hinted or you mentioned that the structure of the commanders, most of them are green commanders. And let me be specific. Region number 1, commando and 2 IC green men. Region number 2, same thing. Region number 3, same time. And region number 6. And all sort of things happening. Let me talk a bit about region number 6, where there's a deputy superintendent, here again in terms of this matter, writing his peers. All sort of things happening. They started the Christmas policing. And here is a memo that I saw. Here is what this deputy writes. With immediate effect, submit officers and station sergeants under your command are to conduct daily face community meetings. They must be accompanied by an immigration rank. Photographs must be taken and sent for onwards transmission and a message sent to the effect, there must be no failure. What is happening is that when the persons they report for duty for this Christmas policing, they're taking out their photographs. They're going at the beat, taking out their photographs, and they got to send it to the commando, and I know where we're going. And in addition to that, every night, 6 to 10 is mass patrol. Every night, 6 to 10. Those people will get born out long before the 15th of December. And somebody needs, maybe somebody from headquarters needs to go to Borbies, go to the Far East. You know, things happen in the Far East and the Middle East. Go to the Far East and talk to those people, find out what's going on, listen to them, because their ranks are demoralized in region number 6. Green commando, green 2IC, and executing a whole lot of power. And I get people there who get rum shop, people there who get super betting going on every day.
I guess when you say people, you're referring to police officers?
Attacking, but police officers higher than assistant superintendent.
Oh, well, you see, there's a problem. And these are things that we talk about, this broken window theory. Let them read and see what is going on. You have to train the people to police down. You detailing people to go and do these things. They're gonna go, yes, but they're not in it. There's no buy-in. There is no buy-in. So just carry through the movement, send message, and that's so. That is part of the problem we have. And finally, one of the issues I want to close on is another
imagine.
Yes.
Paul, let me say, imagine every day face the community meetings. Unheard of. How could that happen? If you want to face the community meeting, you have to properly arrange it. Give people time and know what time you must go and talk. But it's every day face the community meetings.
They have a different concept of face the community, but you just be walk through the community. That's facing the community, and then accompanied by an immigration rank. What's the purpose of the immigration rank? They have foreign nationals in the place. What you can need immigration rank for? Anyhow, I said one of the things I want to close with is this sad situation again, another domestic murder, where I think it was Linden this time, a man stabbed his child mother, and it is now being reported that he may have killed himself. So again, it's a reflection of what is going on in this society. People stressed out, all sort of problems. You have all sort of problems, and these things just every couple mornings is somebody domestic violence all kind of violence, police getting beat up, people crashing in on the road and dying. It's all kind of problems. And I don't think that these things are properly addressed so that we can say we're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we need to, they need to make sure they address these issues. When it comes to the police, the man who sits in the chair, you sit down there, you fight for the work together, you must perform. President got to call out to deal with issues relating to lights and siren and vehicles. The Minister of Home Affairs got to call out. What are these people doing? These people who sit there in these high offices, what are they doing? What are they doing? CC, final words.
Paul, we didn't get to discuss the promotion policy, and maybe next week, there are some allegations of real financial irregularities, especially in the interior locations, where I understand the police welfare fund is in red. And ranks, it has been happening for months and months ago, who go out on patrol, who go out on duty and are required to get assistance, the subsistence, are required or are mandated to make out a bogus one, which is said will be going into the police welfare fund. I don't know whether it's going or not, but they are financial irregularities, particularly in a certain region. It's going on, it's happening, and it's done with compliance with done by ranks there. They have to submit these bogus accounts to headquarters, and headquarters saying that some of the money going into the welfare fund. They need an investigation. And I don't want Bren to call me and ask me for information because I don't have confidence in Bren. I'm going to tell you it's confidential.
You're going to tell him it's confidential. So that thing, like the RAS report and these other reports, you're going to tell him it's confidential. But, a lot of these things are being aired, and apparently now Auditor General Office and them don't now investigating these things. A lot of allegations are made, bloated establishment at various rank levels. People have establishment, have hundreds of, or at least dozens of ranks more than what it requires. So out of these things, nothing is going to happen. Nothing. So I want to close. Well, we talked about it. You alluded to the promotion thing. Well, we into almost an hour and a half, so we don't have time today to go into that.
Yeah.
Let's hope next week we can deal with that. And the same issue about the police welfare fund, because I heard some disturbing things too about the police welfare fund. And maybe next week we can address. I guess by now, when they hear this, they're going to run and they're going to tell the minister, and they're going to start to probe to see what is going on. So I just want to thank you for your participation. We had a little bit of hiccup now and again, but nothing major. We have come to the end of another program, and CC, thank you very much. Yeah, we had the gremlin just now, and we both were get knocked out, and we came back. So CC, thanks for your attention, and see you next week. Stay safe.
Okay, thank you very much. Always a pleasure, and always happy to be with my co-accused, my co-conspirator.
Right. Folks, just to the end there, we had a little bubbling, so something went wrong. Let me just say this as we close. You would have seen in the media, COVID, 2 deaths not so long ago, and cases are still being reported. So I just want to again caution you to be careful, especially during this upcoming Christmas season, where people moving about and interacting. Be safe. Do everything to be safe. And until next week, Wednesday, at the same time, remember the time change is going to be 11 o'clock New York, Eastern Standard Time, 11 o'clock New York, 12 o'clock, 12 noon Ghana time. We'll see you then for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. For now, bye.